Everybody else is a black human, they're an Asian human, they're whatever, but white people are the standard, and because of that, even liberal white people have done this thing where they don't have to think of themselves as a racist individual, and so they go through life forgetting it, because they don't have to think of, you know, the black human struggle. They can just think of the existential human struggle, and that's a lot more romantic, and it takes less words to say. So that's why you have this professor who comes on and asks James Baldwin in this very elegant style with these weird glasses. I just hated the dude. Anyway, you have this professor that comes on and he's like, oh, why does it have to be, you know, the black struggle? Why can't it be the human struggle? Because for him it didn't have to be the black struggle. It didn't even have to be the white struggle, because white people don't have a race according to, you know, just their perceptions of themselves. They can go through life without having to ever worry about it. They can get any job that they want without having to worry about it. They can date anybody they want without having to worry about it. My partner is white, and it's hard to go to her house sometimes to talk to her parents about anything. So there's just this, there's things that we carry around with us that I would say make our experience completely different than everybody else's. And I'm not going to talk for very long, because really I'm a lot more interested in any questions that you guys would have and in hearing what these guys also have to say.
My name is Marcel Black. But tonight I am here not as an artist, but as a black man. I can talk about blackness all day, every day, right? But instead of talking about blackness, I want to talk about this double veil, and I want to talk about whiteness, because I think the thing that made Baldwin so dangerous is so powerful. So as where Martin Luther King was a master and articulated to be a Southern Christian person and using Southern Christian values, you know what I'm saying, to like make policy change. What Malcolm X was the greatest at articulating black rage. What James Baldwin did, he can explain white people better than white people. And the reason why he's able to is because from television to music to every single type of media is told from a white perspective. So every single black person, we code switch. I'm gonna talk to my boy Mark in a particular way, right? And when I go somewhere else, I have to talk and move a different way, you know, so I don't look like the stereotypical black person, right? White people have the privilege to have to do that, right? So I want to discuss a couple of different things as it pertains to whiteness in that capacity. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was working at a school, Kenilworth Middle, and there was a large, so the administration of the school, they were all like Middle Eastern, you know what I'm saying? Muslims, things of that nature. So I was assistant in one class, and me and the guy got real cool, a little short guy, you know what I'm saying? Dark skin, olive skin, you know what I'm saying? Thick accent, you know what have you. And I went up to the house to have dinner, and they did not understand teaching black kids from the hood, right? So I'm like, you know what, let's talk about it. But I want y'all to tell me about how it is for y'all. So one of the things that really, really got me was, he said that, you know, over where he lives at, everybody looks the same. So understanding the way race and color of skin affects people is something new to them. You know what I'm saying? So, and he said that when they came to America, you know what I'm saying, my guy was literally from the Caucasus Mountains. He puts Caucasian. And they tell him to put other. He's like, what you mean? Right? Dark skin, olive, curly hair, you know what I'm saying, thick, you know, speaks Arabic as his first language, or what have you, from the Caucasus Mountains. But they told him he was not Caucasian, because somewhere Caucasian became synonymous with whiteness. And just like my man said over here, it's important that when you go back, you have these conversations with your family members. As an artist, I make conscious hip hop, and I travel all over the country. And my biggest fan base is white. And then also I wonder, like, why is it mostly white people in this room, you know, when I'm doing these shows, whatever. And I have a friend of mine who's a professor at University of Connecticut. He wrote a book called Hip Hop Revolution. And one thing he broke down was, he said the first form of popular culture in the United States of America was minstrel shows. The hillbilly rednecks couldn't afford to go to those type of shows in the opera, right? Boom. The people, you know, the people who could afford, they wouldn't come into the bar and need slapping banjo playing, right? But it was the minstrel shows with white performers performing as black people. And then later, black performers could not get a job performing unless they had on blackface. So you had black people pretending to be black people, impersonating a white man being a black guy. So I've always found that interesting, and I want to know why. I've always wanted to know why. And I wanted to, and these are just questions that I don't have the answer to, but these are just my observations. Why? Why is it like that? And James Baldwin said it a couple of different times, but he said, when when a white person calls me a nigga, I'm okay with that. I just want to know why you want me to be a nigga. What is it in your whiteness that needs me to be beneath you? When I look at, you know, what's going on from the protests back in the 60s and 70s, what have you, up until now, you see people where the plan was already put out there that we're going to be peaceful, that we're going to be nonviolent. This is what we're going to do. We ain't hurting nobody. This is our philosophy. This is what we're doing. You know, we're just trying to go to school. We're just trying to go sit at a lunch counter. We're just trying to walk through the front door. Why do white people feel the need to treat them like that? To do every single mundane things that everybody else does. These are conversations that, you know, like, it's when I'm on social media, like, I have a black ass conversation with my black ass friends, right? And I have a white liberal friend come in and chime in on the conversation. I ain't got a problem with it. You learn that that's how you have to have conversations. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I think, unless you just got like a whole lot of time, when I see one of my white friends, or whenever somebody who I might have been cool with in high school, like, it gets kind of racist in their conversations, I don't jump in on their conversation. I don't, right? Because I kind of understand what it is. But it's real interesting to learn the way they think. Like, I'm hearing, oh, the reason why they protest is because they ain't got no jobs. Because they're lazy, because everybody's on welfare. You know what I'm saying? And these type of sentiments are being echoed, you know, not just by people who we seen in the video, because all those people are either dead or they somebody's grandfather, great-grandfather, right? And they got kids, they got grandkids, right? And so that mindset is very much still here. And we see it on our phones every single day. The question is why? So it's very important to ask yourself, what in whiteness was triggered by so much? By just, if I say Black Lives Matter, why do you bring up rioting? Why you bring up, like, you can't just say, you're right. And I think it does speak to the lack of humanity. And we're talking about the 60s because it's when it is. But let's go back to when we was on this continent. What in you, in whiteness, made you think that I could treat another human being this way? We've never tried for revenge. We just want to be left alone and be recognized as human beings. Why can't you not see us as human beings? I see two things as different. I think white people are more afraid ever of being canceled. Like Gushers and Fruit by the Foot came out talking about we wouldn't be nothing without black people. Now what's funny is, I made a post about it on Facebook, and all the black people was like, yeah, we kind of, you know what I mean, we do, you know what I mean? But Ben and Jerry's been with that. They have Bobby Seale, who was the founder of Black Panthers, on their board of directors, right? Just like you saw Starbucks was like, hey, we can't do any Black Lives Matter things. You just got back good with Starbucks, you know what I'm saying? The next day, you know, oh, with the Starbucks, oh, well, look, matter of fact, Starbucks, they said we will make Black Lives Matter shirts. I just heard on NPR before we came here. And it's because they're afraid of getting canceled, not because they care about black lives. In terms of what's happening, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I remember 2016, I was disturbed. It feels different now. Like Atlanta went crazy the next day, Oakland went crazy the next day. I think people are tired, and I think that combined with everybody been in the house for the last 3 months with COVID, unemployed. I think people are reacting a little bit differently, but this defund the police thing, that's something different. That's something different. You know, I think people are afraid of the term defund. It's still a new concept or whatever, but it's reform. Because we have to understand, both prison and policing as it is are remnants of slavery. The correlation between the disproportionate amount of black people killed compared to, you know, the white population and the disproportionate amount of black people being incarcerated, it's the same thing. I have the song when I say FDT a lot. And at the end, I would rant about anti-immigration laws. Because the only reason why they ain't deported black people because they ain't got nowhere to send us. And I tell black people all the time, we need to care about this as human beings, because since they ain't got nowhere to deport us, they ain't got enough prisons and grave sites for us. I'm not gonna say I'm optimistic, I'm skeptical, but it feels different. Like I was literally in my house thinking like, this legit might be a revolution for real, for real. When Philando Castile, when he left, when he got killed on Facebook Live, his wife and daughter was in the car. So just like I got my babies in the back seat don't mean nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So the only way, and I'm being verbose, I apologize, this ain't all for cap, is that we really leave here and have these conversations. We look each other in the eye, have these conversations, we check ourselves to see what we can do. Look, I ain't been to a protest, right? So it ain't always about protesting and putting up signs. You ain't gotta cross the street when you see me coming. You ain't gotta clutch your pearls. I'm an artist. When we try to book at your venues, everybody else get 70, 80, 20. Why we getting 60, 40? Like, you have whiteness and you have other. We're not other. Nobody's other. We're all human beings. Now, different human beings have different cultures, different histories, but just remember that and have those conversations.
All right.